This is Christian is the technician. He's my lead tech that was working on your vehicle. So I'm gonna let him explain it to you.
How you doing, man?
Hi.
Good. So the Odyssey, right?
Yes.
So on certain vehicles, sometimes, misfires aren't as, black and white to get down to the core of the problem for,
Right.
For a couple of reasons.
Yeah, because
Traditionally, misfires most commonly are from, ignition system problems, spark plugs, tune-up related issues.
yeah,
A
that's
wire, a coil. Those are always the very first things to suspect.
exactly. That's why I fixed all that before I brought it
The
here.
most likely
Right.
thing. And no matter what, a misfire in simple terms is, at the end of the day, a problem in the combustion process.
Mm-hmm.
And we need spark, fuel, and air.
Yes.
So in theory, it can be a fault in one of those three categories.
Right.
The most common thing is spark. So coils, plugs, those are the first things to look into. Also, the communication through the wiring to tell those coils to fire. That has to be.
Sir, can I just stop you for a second?
Sure.
I used to work on motors. I understand that, which is why I changed the spark plugs, I changed the ignition coils,
Gotcha.
and I changed the fuel injectors, and it still wasn't firing, which is why I brought it here. So
here's why mainly the injectors. Here's why we went after those. So those injectors are not accessible in any way when the motor's assembled.
Of course.
To be able to, in theory, run the engine while doing live testing, you can't get to them. And there's a lot of engines like this where it's a catch-22. By the time you take everything apart to get to the injectors, now the motor's disabled to be able to do any live running testing, of the injectors. So it's a little tricky. What led me to wanting to replace mainly the number 4 injector that had already been replaced. The fortunate part is number 4 is way off on the edge. It's an outside cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in from the side with basically what we call a stethoscope, a glorified listening device. Injectors, when they're pulsing, will make an extremely loud tick that you can hear if you're directly on the body of the injector.
okay.
Because all those injectors are under the intake, you can't get to majority of them, but I can get to the side ones from coming at an angle. And I could verify the original ones that were still in the motor. I was able to get to at least a couple of them. And number 4 in particular was silent. While the engine's running, while it's misfiring, that number 4 injector was not pulsing at all. Even though I checked, it was connected, there was no issues
Right.
with being left disconnected.
Which is why the first time you fixed it, you changed that injector.
Yeah, we went in.
But then it happened again and you thought it was faulty.
We did all the injectors while we were in there.
The first time you did it, you changed that particular injector. And you thought it was a faulty injector.
We only did the injectors one time. We first swapped and we were playing with coils first to verify spark. Once we knew we had spark, I went to the next step going, let's check fuel. Realized that number 4, which has been the one cylinder in question this whole time, the number 4 injector is not pulsing. I can hear it on as many of the other ones I could get to, except for number 4. That was silent.
But then I was sold 6.
Mm-hmm.
Or else that work that you were doing wouldn't be covered under warranty,
Mm-hmm.
is what I was told, okay? So now we're replacing 6,
Mm-hmm.
which didn't need to be replaced, and actually number 4 didn't need to be replaced. I understand where you're going, though. Go ahead.
Well, no, number 4 now, and interesting is now number 4, even though I'm still getting misfires, I am getting pulse out of number 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we were dealing with a layered issue where regardless, something happened with the number 4 injector that was already replaced. I don't know. I got no markings on it. I can't verify brand or where it came from. But now I do have pulse in number 4. Because everything has to be removed and you get to all the injectors all at the same time, the reason just to replace all 6 is because we're in there and we're disturbing them all.
Well, I was told your work wouldn't be covered by warranty if I didn't go ahead and replace all 6.
Yeah,
Why? Though I'm not sure why you can't cover your work for cylinder 4 without making me buy parts that necessarily were working fine.
I mean, yeah, we very well, and forgive me, I mean, I'm the tech, it was just my recommendation, 4 is technically the one I really wanted to replace, but while we're in there, in the sake of, future preventative maintenance,
I understand. Sure, it's a good idea to do that, but not being covered under warranty, the work that you are doing, unless I spend even more money, doesn't really make sense.
And you could have made that choice. I mean, we can replace just the one and see what happens.
Right, but then I'm not covered under warranty.
Not for the other ones, no, because we don't.
Well, that wasn't explained to me correctly. It was what you're doing isn't covered under warranty unless I buy all 6.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm trying to say?
Just the one, yeah, just the one would have been, one would have been under warranty.
Like if another one had gone bad, you would have to pay the labor to go all the way back in there.
Nobody said that. No, that wasn't explained to me. So
okay, well, we apologize for that. So, but the issue now is cylinder 4 is what?
So, we verify spark, we now verify fuel, that's the 2 out of the 3. Now I'm still having a misfire. We have no choice but to be in the 3rd category, which is we have an air problem. That cylinder's not breathing, which turns into a mechanical issue. Something is causing that cylinder not to breathe properly to allow that complete combustion.
Okay, I'm really not looking for an apology. I'm just looking for what can we do about this? Like, going forward, is this something that the money that I did spend can be put towards fixing the valve or whatever it is that isn't working? Or did I just spend $1,500 for no reason? And I get an apology.
Well, forgive me, ma'am. I'm not trying to apologize.
No, you didn't apologize. The owner apologized. I know.
I apologize for wasn't clear about how that was conveyed.
Right, but that miscommunication cost me even more money. Correct?
Well, you could have gone without having, if those other injectors fail, that would not be on us.
Of course it wouldn't be.
Okay.
But you understand where the problem lies.
So what do you want to do with the car? Let's start with where do you want to go with this?
Well, what can we do with the car?
Well,
what are you capable of?
Explain to you where we're going to go.
I understand what the problem is with the car. Going forward, what can be done?
Well, the next step is, I need to be able to get eyes on what's going on mechanically. So, and of course we can't, I can't see until we start taking some things apart. I tried to mitigate, trying to be thorough, and having run into this scenario so many times before, I always try and mitigate any chance of overlooking an engine problem. Early on in the process, when we were first diagnosing, I jumped right to a compression test just to eliminate that as a possibility and test compression in that cylinder.
And it was fine.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the problem with a compression test, technically, is that's only giving you information on what's going on the bottom end or the block of the engine. That cylinder's ability to seal up and build compression.
Yeah.
What that isn't going to tell you is the top portion of the motor, the cylinder head. Are my valves opening properly in time? Are they allowing air in and air out? That never is revealed in a compression test. So the compression test comes back with flying colors, textbook perfect compression, which is great. That tells me the core bottom of the motor is healthy. No reason to be worried about an engine failure. But the fallacy of a compression test is it doesn't give you a complete view of what's happening. So what I'm suspecting is going on is, even though we have good compression, now we know we have spark. Now I have an injector that's pulsing, which means it is spraying fuel in there. I should be having combustion, unless up in the cylinder head, the valves that open and close for intake exhaust, if something is wrong there, which we have seen on these motors a couple of times. It's just sort of rare. It's not very common. A broken valve spring, a rocker that's not in place or cracked or came dislodged would cause, in that just one isolated cylinder, even though all the other ones are happy, that mechanical failure could very well be what I'm after or what I'm hoping to find. That's
do you do that this kind of work?
Yes, but that's just the thing. Is the next step, I need to prove that I can't assume or guess. I'd have to basically, at the bare minimum, pull the valve cover off of the cylinder in question so that we can get a visual and see what's going on, to see if I can confirm my theory at this point of what I think is the problem. I just have to do a little bit more digging in now to verify that. So the intake would come back off, essentially what we just did with the injectors. I got to get that out of the way, and then we pull the valve cover off and get a mechanical look of what's happening up there in the top of the motor. I just wanted to help you understand from a mechanical
I do.
standpoint
I understand that. I'm not understanding.
Why we don't skip to that, why I don't skip to that right away, and immediately.
Yeah, right.
When you first brought it in, we have misfires. It's difficult for me to immediately go, oh, we might have a motor, and just jump to the worst case scenario right away.
Well, that's kind of what I suspected in the first place. But then, you being the professional, I thought, well, maybe you are right. Maybe the parts that I put in aren't working. But then on top of it, okay, so now we're right back where we started when I brought it in. I told you that the cylinder isn't firing, okay? And that I put the coils in, I put the spark plugs in, I put the injector in. It's still not working. Maybe we should have looked at that while the valve cover was off. And maybe I shouldn't have been charged being told that your work isn't being covered under warranty to replace all 6, which is costing me even more. Now we have to go back in, take it off again. How much of the money I paid is going towards what really is the problem here? What is this costing me? How can you help me out?
Because of the confusion, there will be no charge for him to dig into the valve cover. If you want to proceed. If you don't, that's fine.
If I don't want to proceed, what is this costing me?
I'll have to go back and look at the ticket.
All right, let's do that.
I can't do that off the top of my head.
Okay, let's do that then.
Okay, then I'll let you know later today.
Later today.
Yep.
Okay, so I have to take more time off to come back to see.
You just dropped in, so
Right.
I thought we were gonna have a phone call. So
Well,
I'm holding up him. This is costing me money right now, so I can't just drop everything and jump on this. But I will get to it today. That's the best I could do.
Your customer service sucks.
Okay.
You-
Well, then
you're
take
just-
the cargo.
You're
We'll
just
wrap it up.
unbelievable.
It's over.
So I can't pay you for doing nothing for my van.
You're not happy here. We have.
I'm
no
not.
customers,
I'm
so
not.
I'm trying to do what I can to help you.
Okay.
I'm sorry she misspoke. Apologize for that.
I don't need an apology, ma'am.
If I may, I did not misspeak. I did let you know that the injectors tend to go out
Right,
back to back.
and then the work
And
wouldn't be
so
covered unless
if I went in there and did that one injector and then another one
You never
went
said
out,
that.
and then another one went out, you would have to
She's
pay
just
for
gonna
us to
argue,
go all the way
Cassie.
back
She
in.
just wants to argue.
Okay.
I don't just want to argue. I want to pay what you. Nothing was done. That's all. I'm asking for you to be fair.
Sorry, but we can't trust that you did that. I can't trust another shop did it. We don't do that.
But-
people make mistakes on cars all the time.
Okay, but I did explain that was done. All right. There's no communication here.
Okay, we'll just wrap it up.
What's going to be the bill?
Like I told you, I need to look at that. I will let you know later today. Already said that.
So I want you to give me my van now before you're giving me a price of what I'm walking out here with.
No, we'll figure that out. Agree on whatever, and then you can pick up the van.
Okay. You're not supposed to ask your employees why they're going to the doctor also. That's
Okay.
Really
Thanks for
rude.
your help. Yeah.
fuck you.